All right, let's watch this Matt Walsh thing and the AOC documentary, which I love because nothing says I'm Republican like obsessing over AOC. So let's continue down the line of AOC because we must talk about her. She needs to be taken very seriously. But in the same light, she's kind of fun to make fun of. Okay, keep going.
The Wire. The climate may be getting hot, but AOC's new movie is most definitely not. Well done. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a new documentary out, To the End. And if movie theaters are paying attention to ticket sales, they realize it's already run to the end. The flick opened on December 9th at 120 theaters. But since then, it's made $9,667.
Suck on this, Biden.
It's about a week. On over 100 screens, it's made less than $10,000.
It's like the Meghan and Harry documentary. I don't know anybody in their right mind watching that crap.
That is $80 a screen. And let's say the tickets are $16.25 as they are at Regal theaters. That would equate to fewer than 600 people who actually saw it. So that's about, do the math on that. So that's like just about 5 or 6 people a theater went to go see this movie. Perhaps viewers just didn't want to sit through this. This is the movie synopsis. It says, stopping the climate crisis is a question of political courage and the clock is ticking. Over 3 years of turbulence and crisis, 4 young women fight for a Green New Deal and ignite a historic shift in U.S. climate politics.
Yes.
Now, the film drew 83% approval from Rotten Tomatoes, of course.
Oh my God, shut up. Let me look that up. AOC documentary, Rotten Toms. I mean, is anybody interested? I might put myself through the ringer and make myself watch this documentary. $80 from each theater. I literally shat a movie out that made more money. Fun fact, it took Tommy Wiseau 5 years to recoup the losses of dude, The Room. Yes. Let's see, Rotten Tomatoes. Tomatoes. Why is tomatoes such a difficult word to spell sometimes? It's like we purposely try to screw up kids with dyslexia. All right, here we go. I think if I type in AOC, it'll just pop. To the End. I want to see the preview. Hopefully it'll be good.
Fighting for change politically requires faith.
We are building an army of young people to stop the climate crisis and create millions of good jobs for our generation.
Everyone wants to talk about this dispassionately, but this is the world that I will raise my kids in.
The more centrist wing is arguing that they want to maintain the status quo.
Ain't nobody gonna keep us down.
Oh my God, this is so narcissistic. I love it.
This is going to be the moonshot of our generation.
Moments of
You see Bernie Sanders there?
crisis.
Can't believe I'm actually here right now.
This crack open the window of possibility.
We just climb that mountain.
Let's get a shot of AOC just walking and looking down, looking serious. You're depressed, you're crying over climate change. This is good. This is wonderful.
Sometimes I feel like my job is to get my hands dirty.
Wash those dirty hands, please. Gross.
You're not going to trick us. Hell no.
Now is the time to leverage our power. We have tens of thousands of new people joining.
We just climb that mountain.
We're in the battle for the soul of the Democratic Party. Make them feel like they're going to lose their seats if they don't support this.
Just spread our wings.
Did you see him going after Joe Manchin? So strong. So beautiful.
As long as there are people that you can poison without consequence, there will always be a loophole that the fossil fuel industry can exploit.
Yeah, let's not make our cities better. Let's take away jobs. God, I love this logic.
It's possible to both decarbonize and keep equity and justice at the center.
I love when people just say things. You don't have to back anything up or explain how. You just say these things. It's possible, all right? Don't say it's not possible. It's just a white supremacy truth. Let's keep going.
Oh, thank you. I'm not often called classy. Tell my mom.
Classy with a certain bit of assy.
The media is expecting us to fail.
Some of us have to actually live the future that you all are setting on fire.
Yeah, I think you're going to do just fine. You're going to have all kinds of deals, and maybe you'll star in movies like John Fetterman.
We're going to make historic investments, and we'll seize the opportunity.
We got the candidate that was nominated to come to us.
We're either going to go out in a blaze of glory or we're going to win what we want.
America has faced threats
Is that a threat?
before and come out stronger.
You're one step away from success.
Wait, was she just like walking in the woods with her boyfriend? He's ginger too. God, why, bro? You're putting a bad name for all of us.
You're one step away from success. That's when they want you to think you're the furthest. But you are close. You are close.
Man, I'm touched. Let's see these reviews. Throughout to the end, there's a clear sense of urgency and a call to action. What that action is, we're trying to figure out, but there's an urgency and a call. I love that. One of the subjects to the end notes that she wants to speak things into existence. It's painfully poignant. Wish representatives to blend the optimism, desperation, and determination that powers the entire film. When To the End centers its subjects, AOC, they shine and inspire, even at their most challenged. Like when AOC was going for a hike with her redheaded boyfriend. It's a very challenging experience. Okay, I want to read some of these. There is no doubt that the issue is fundamental to a functioning and existing society. This documentary is simply not the film that tackles it head on. Joel, you're gonna get canceled. Let's go to Joel. Let's dox him. Let's get rid of him. Yeah, I can't. You should only be speaking positive things. Another. As for how the legislation actually affects the environment, that's left between the lines of this documentary. Go after him, get him, let's dox him, let's get rid of him. A bummer semi-sequel Lears should have called The Fossil Fuel Empire Strikes Back. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. AOC loves that fire down from below. How dare you say that, Pickles? You know her boyfriend is miserable. He's probably like, I don't know if you've seen some of the clips of Harry and Meghan's documentary, but he's starting to look like he made a mistake. Whoops. All right, here we go. I want to keep listening down to this Matt Walsh take.
But nobody actually wants to see this thing, and I know that you're really hoping.
Part of me wants to watch it just so I can abuse my own self. Maybe we'll have a watch-along party, and we'll see if I make it through without wanting to punch myself in the face.
Hoping that you'll get a chance to watch the trailer of this, because you're hearing the description, you're thinking, I need to see some clips of this thing. And don't worry, I got you covered. Here's the trailer.
Okay, we already watched some of these. Let's see. Okay, let's go back to his take, because we watched the documentary already.
Stop watching it. So you've seen enough of it. A few things. First, interesting things going on here. I mean, nothing interesting in the film itself, but first, the Democrat Party just doesn't have any stars at all. They don't have.
How dare you? Stacey Abrams just announced that she's thinking about rerunning, and Beto, he's not done. He's not finished. He was so close.
Any interesting people in the Democrat Party. AOC is the closest, and yet, she's probably the biggest star in the Democrat Party. She's not the one that has the most influence in Washington, for sure, but she's the biggest star, most well-known, most famous, popular, I guess. And yet still, like,
just now realizing Harry is slow.
He's the best they can.
Yeah, I could see Steven Seagal seducing her. Oh my God.
Do as far as that goes, and yet nobody cares because she's actually not interesting at all. It's not
No, they're like, the excitement for AOC feels so fabricated because they try to paint her to be like this intellectual giant when every time she talks, nobody with more than 2 brain cells gets that impression, but they sell it to you like it's gospel.
Interesting person. Part of the problem is that in order to be interesting, you have to have some rough edges. You need to have some aspects of yourself that aren't politically correct.
Yes, and maybe also a rough upbringing. Not just, I had to be a bartender at one point, and that be your only selling point for knowing what it's like to experience trauma.
That's what makes someone interesting. But when you perfectly fit yourself into this politically correct box, it may prevent you from getting backlash. It may make you above criticism in the mainstream. Fine, but just like, it's not interesting. And also, the left, once again, as we see, they find it difficult to make films that preach their message in an appealing and entertaining way.
To be fair, so do conservatives. Though, What is a Woman documentary is pretty fantastic. But let's not get it twisted that conservative movies are also trash. But let's continue.
They didn't always have this difficulty because the left has been, the Hollywood has been left leaning.
But people are begging for more Kool-Aid. Outside of the theater of Jonestown.
For decades, and they've been putting out films that, propagandize in their direction. And they've been doing that for decades, but they used to be able to do it in a way that people found interesting and found entertaining and wanted to go watch the movies. And they're not as able to do that anymore.
Well, this is what happens when you put forth in your life woke things or equality instead of just allowing the best to work the job, allowing for the best to come forward. This is when you have quotas, race quotas and stuff like that. Instead of just allowing the best person for the job, you start to have really crappy art. And we're seeing it being played right before our eyes. Art is slowly getting worse, it feels like, because no one is trying to break outside the box. Can we go back to making gunfight movies now? Exactly. Amen to that. Let's keep going.
Part of that is, like we always talk about, it's the kind of Christian film phenomenon where they do the same thing in the reverse of what Christian films do. They put the message up.
Thank you. At least it's always refreshing to hear like a take like that, because Christian films always do that. They're so concerned about the message rather than just creating beautiful art, and that's what you're just seeing it be played out right before our eyes. That's why so much of the left is faith-based and pushing out their religious agenda that you must believe these things, say these things, speak in this tongue and stuff like that. They're more concerned with you just being a part of their club and clapping the mediocrity and the terribleness than just creating better art. That's why for so long, somebody like myself who grew up as a Christian, listening to Christian music as a kid, my parents would be like, trying to listen to the new hip hop, it's so fresh. And I would try to listen to Christian hip hop and I'd be like, this is crap. What? Yeah, but have you heard Lecrae? Like, it was all so dumb to me because they're more concerned about the message than just creating great art.
Before anything. So they go message first. They worry about getting the message across before they worry about actually putting out an entertaining piece of content.
At least Christian films, Kevin Sorbo will at least put in some effort. Yeah, like a total Oscar winner.
That's part of it. I think also, they don't think that the masses are worthy of being appealed to in the first place. I think they think almost like it'd be beneath them to try to appeal to the masses.
I guess I could kind of see that. It's like, in some degree, it's not like some Christian movies are that way. It's like, we know you're not going to want to see this, and it's only for these type of people. I don't know.
Because they have contempt for that. They have too much contempt for the masses at this point to actually try to connect with them. I think that's part of the issue. And that'll do it for...
That being said, I cannot wait to see To the End documentary. It's going to be life-changing. I'm going to tell my kids about it, my grandkids about it, and I hope you take time out of your day to waste an hour and 33 minutes and wish you could take that hour and 33 minutes back, just like the rest of us that watch it. Amen.